are halfway through the Custom Mario Mail-In Tournament, and now it's time for the second half, starting with today, day number 5. Let's meet our first group for the day. Number 40, Briandon, 30.89 grams. Number 37, Rebel Racing, 80.69 grams. Number 13, Jesse, 33.93 grams. And number 51, Noid, 88.63 grams. This is our first group. We'll see the second group race later on. And this is where they will start, in heat number 1. By the way, once again everybody, if I mispronounce a name, please let me know how to properly pronounce it, in case they move on so I know how to say it correctly in the future. It is a little bit hard to keep track of everything as well, especially in my personal life right now, so I'm sorry if I say something wrong or miss something important. But as we get into this first race, Rebel Racer is out in front, and it looks like Ahsoka is driving that vehicle. It might have 2 engines or something on the back. I'm not sure how that works, but it seems to be working for her. Going down that last hill, no one anywhere around them. And they finish with a 16.9, which is actually not too bad, but it's not too great either, because I believe the fastest time we have is still 14.41, held by Blue Line Racing, who held the record for the fastest time in the last tournament as well. So who finished in second? It looks like it was Jesse, and I think that's called the Sneaker. Again, I have trouble keeping track of everything. And that character I definitely recognize, and I don't know if Noid is their name or something similar, but I have seen them before. The Rebel Racer has the first win, so if anyone's going to be undefeated in today's races, it's going to be them. Or somebody in the second group. We'll see later. Noid is actually kind of tall, like one of our previous racers, but I don't think they're tall enough to the point where they're hitting the overhead archway there. And in race number 2, Rebel Racer is out in front yet again. Jesse is trying to keep on their tail this time. In the lane merger, though, it looks like Rebel is able to keep that lead going. Something about that straight path there is often a make or break for some of these racers, because they are able to either slow down or just launch themselves forward like a slingshot a lot of the time. But Rebel Racer makes full advantage of the lead that they have, and they win again, finishing around the same amount of time too. Noid finishes in second this time. And then there's Briandon, but where is Jesse? Looks like they got stuck. And it was before the final turn, which is a popular area for racers who don't finish to end up stopping. But Noid did finish in second this time, so that may help them quite a bit, especially since Jesse didn't finish at all. Let's look at the overall score. We have 3 for Jesse and Briandon, 5 for Noid, and 10 for Rebel Racer. And Rebel only needs 1 more win to automatically move on to today's finals. But they will have to beat everybody first. And so far, they're able to do that, and they're already expanding their lead by quite a bit. When you're moving so fast that all of the other racers are off camera, then you're probably going to be fine unless you spin out or something, which has happened before. So it's, as they often say, it's not over till it's over. And we did see Jesse briefly a couple times, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. And Rebel Racer once again spins around at the end, finishes in first though, so they will automatically move on. The question is, who will finish in second? It looks like it'll be Noid again. And there comes Briandon. For some reason, Jesse is getting stuck all of a sudden. They started off really well, and somehow they end up losing all their speed right before the last turn. And now they have 2 non-finishes, which is very hurtful towards their score, and greatly decreases their chances of moving on. Especially since Noid now has finished in second twice. And Briandon close behind them, no less. And now Noid has 8. Jesse still has 3. Briandon has 5. So it's very difficult at this point for Jesse to have a chance to move on. In order for that to happen, they would need to win this next race while Noid doesn't finish at all, and then he would have to win in a tiebreaker. That is a very unlikely set of circumstances, especially since Rebel hasn't lost a race yet. And it looks like they will keep that alive and possibly be our next undefeated racer. We haven't had any in a decent amount of time, so this could be a game changer here. And they do finish in first, so they are, for now, remaining undefeated. They just have 4 more races in front of them today in order to keep it that way. Excuse me. There comes Noid. I think somebody finished before Noid did, other than Rebel. And who didn't finish? It was Briandon this time. Briandon got stuck where Jesse normally does. Does that mean did Jesse actually finish? Yep, here they come. Jesse did put in a valiant effort to try and keep in this game, but unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be enough. Because not only did they only finish in second, but Noid finished, period. So, it looks like Noid will be moving on. And that is the case. With only 10 points, Noid was able to move on alongside Rebel, who is currently undefeated. Let's see who will join them in the finals in the second group. Number 16, Ultra Quest, 85.83 grams, or 83 grams. Number 47, Stitchify, 38.73 grams. Number 36, Beavis and Butthead Racing, 109 grams. That seems close to the limit. And number 41, Wakanda Forever, at 51.12 grams. Now this is definitely interesting. No one in this group seems to be a Mario character at all. A couple of them are characters owned by Disney, but no Mario characters seemingly. Right now, Beavis and Butthead are out in front, and I'm not sure if only one of them is driving the actual vehicle or both of them are trying to. I'm not entirely sure. But it looks like we have at least seen a racer take notes from Arlo, as Beavis and Butthead seem to be strapped closer to the front of that vehicle, which may work in their favor if it worked for Arlo. And they do have the first win, and they did finish a little bit quicker than the first group did. Here comes Ultra, barely crossing the finish line. There's Wakanda Forever, but where is Stitchify? They are up there and they are sideways. So we already have a non-finisher in this group, which is definitely going to hurt, especially for all the Stitch fans out there. I being one of them. Or I am one of them. I am so sorry. I am very tired. But yeah, I gotta once again point out the wonderful creativity on a lot of these vehicles. Because it is called a Mario Custom Tournament, but they take full advantage of the custom part and make all these wacky vehicles or have non-Mario characters racing. And it is quite entertaining, if for nothing else, the creativity alone. In race number 2, however, Beavis and Butthead are once again out in front. And so far, no one has been able to get too close to them, which of course I'm sure they would prefer. And around that last turn, down the hill, no one anywhere close, and they are staying straight, so they will finish in first yet again. This time with a 16.14, that is definitely better. Wakanda Forever finishing... Actually, no, that was Ultra Quest, and then Wakanda Forever. And Stitchify still can't finish. And they can't get around that last turn. Once again, a popular place for non-finishers to stop. But you definitely, and obviously, do not want to be a non-finisher if you want to move on. Any non-finish greatly decreases your chances of progressing. Now, Beavis and Butthead so far have finished in first both times. Actually, everybody has had the same results in the first 2 races so far. So let's see how race number 3 goes, and Beavis and Butthead are already way out in front for a starting position. And they're already through that first turn and quickly pulling away. In the lane merger, let's see if anyone's closing in. No, they are getting further and further away from everybody else. They are now heading into the path towards the last turn. They do swerve sideways a little bit, but quickly correct themselves. That being said, maneuvers like that can make you lose a lot of speed. So you want to be very careful anytime you skid sideways. But they do finish in first yet again, so they will be moving on to today's finals. And it looks like Ultra Quest finishes in second yet again. And Wakanda Forever is not finishing, it seems. And neither is Stitchify, so let's see if we can find them. There's Wakanda Forever stuck right before that last turn. Yet another example. And Stitchify is somehow stuck on a downward slope. I'm not quite sure what caused that to happen. They might have gotten stuck on the railing. But it's not often you see someone get stuck while heading downwards. You'd think gravity would work in your favor, but I guess it didn't happen there. But it looks like so far, the two moving on will be Beavis and Butthead Racing alongside Ultra Quest. Because the other two, they don't even have enough points or any points, as the case may be, in order to catch up to even Ultra at this point. So it looks like it will be Beavis and Butthead alongside Ultra Quest moving on. It's just a matter of how many points can they get overall. But look at this Stitchify. Was doing relatively well up until that turn, and then they just went sideways and all their speed was lost. Which is an absolute shame, because it looked like they were going to try and end on a high note. But then in the end it looks like the results will stay the same for them. And Ultra Quest finishes in second once more? Will Wakanda Forever finish? No! Stitchify didn't get much further than when we last saw them, and Wakanda Forever got stuck right before the last hill, which we've seen a couple times happen a couple times before. I am so sorry. Let's see, how did they stop? Did they hit the wall? It looks like their back end might have caught something, and then they went sideways and hit the wall and stopped immediately. But we have our finalists, so let's see what happens now. We have Rebel Racer and Beavis and Butthead, two racers that haven't lost a race yet, which means at least one of them will not have a chance to be undefeated going forward. Possibly both of them, but we will see. Right now, Beavis and Butthead are out in front, but Rebel is closing in fast. They are trying to keep this a close race. But Beavis and Butthead has been shown time-wise to be just a little bit faster. But as I say that, Beavis and Butthead skids sideways, and Rebel Racer finds an opening, takes it, and now they're spinning sideways, and it keeps going back and forth, and Beavis and Butthead ultimately take the win. That is what I would call a race. Both racers skid sideways. Both racers take advantage of their opportunities. It's just that Beavis and Butthead had the latter one, and they ultimately won because of it. Meanwhile, Ultra Quest finished in third, and Noid did not finish at all. Look at that, it was relatively close throughout. But Beavis and Butthead will take the win and keep their hope of being undefeated alive. Rebel Racer, that being said, could still move on, as we have the top two moving on in each regular finals. They will just have to be relatively consistent with Beavis and Butthead in order for that to happen. In race number 2, Beavis and Butthead once again take an early lead, but Rebel Racer is trying to keep up with them. That being said, they do go into different sections of the course this time, and won't meet up again until the lane merger at the very end. Beavis and Butthead do have a slight lead, but here comes Rebel Racer trying to pass them, and it looks like they do. And now they're going into the last stretch before the final turn, and they are relatively even, so let's see who takes the lead as we get into the last stretch. It is Rebel Racer, but they do skid sideways. This time though, Beavis and Butthead were not able to pass them, and Rebel Racer takes the win this time, so no one in today's video will come out of it undefeated. Very close, but not enough. But now Rubble and Beavis and Butthead are tied for first, and I believe 8 points each. This time everybody did finish, but it looks like it'll mostly be between Beavis and Butthead alongside Rebel Racer. I will say though, I do like the character design on Ultra Quest. Annoyed, I still can't place where I've seen that character before. I believe they were a mascot for something, but I could be wrong. Race number 3 though, Beavis and Butthead do have a slight lead, and they are sharing the same lane as Rebel Racer. The question is, will they be able to catch them this time? It is relatively close, but so far Beavis and Butthead still have the lead going into the last turn. And I don't think Rubble will be able to catch them as they spin around yet again. So Beavis and Butthead now has the lead in points again. And here come the other two. Ultra Quest almost actually finished in last that time. It's not every day you see a close competition. Usually there's one racer that stands out from the other three, or just everybody just doesn't do that well. But we actually have a very intense competition between Beavis and Butthead and Rebel Racer here. So let's see if Rebel can pull off another win and make their scores even. And by the way, even if the top two score the same amount of points, both of them will still move on. They won't need to do a tiebreaker. And here we go into race number 4. It looks like Rebel Racer might have the lead this time, but it is really close. They do have the lead now. They didn't at first, but Beavis and Butthead did bounce off the wall a little bit. And Rebel Racer is now out in front. The question is, will they be able to stay straight and hold on to it? Once again, they spin around and around the same spot, no less. And Beavis and Butthead took that opportunity and they take the win. Meanwhile, Rebel Racer finishes in second, almost blocks Ultra Quest with the underside of their vehicle. Yeah, I'm not sure what it is about that last section, but somehow it causes Rebel Racer to spin around, which you definitely don't want to do much of as they go into the grand finals later on. But Beavis and Butthead and Rebel Racer will be the ones moving on, neither one undefeated, but definitely some valiant racers. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you for day number 6.